Welcome back again on another numerical which is to be solved by the Macaulay method. Here the peculiarity of this particular problem is, you can see it is a simply supported beam from A to B, but beyond point B there is a overhang for this particular distance 2 meter. Is it okay? So BD length is equal to 2 meter given. Here what load is acting? There is only on the simply supported part there is only one point load, but on the overhanging part there is a UDL of 1 kilonewton meter. So this is a UDL of 1 kilonewton meter imposed on the distance of 2 meter. Is that okay? So this is how we have to understand this particular problem. As far as what is the objective, we got to find out the slope at A, C and D, and also we have to find out the maximum deflection at C and D, and the third objective is to find out the maximum deflection. So whatever maximum probabilities we can have in this particular problem, all are to be worked out by the Macaulay's method. Is that okay? Now just remember what is the fourth rule, what we have already studied into the initial stage. That rule says whenever we are going to come across overhanging part on a particular simply supported beam, here overhanging part is occurring on the right hand side of this support B. So I have to start analyzing this beam from the left hand side, means I have to take the sections, first section, second section and then third section. Is it okay? If, once again I'll repeat that rule, if the overhanging part is on the left hand side, so in that case I have to start taking the sections one by one from right to left. Is that okay? So that will be first, second and third onward in the leftward direction. The basic properties of the beam are given, E and I are already given. So here we have to proceed with the first objective, that is to find out the support reactions. So here I assume the reactions, they are upward. Is that okay? Now here, as there is no any question of horizontal reaction at B, because there is no any active force in the horizontal direction, so there won't be any reactive force in the horizontal direction at point B. B being a hinge support, there has to be two reaction, one horizontal and one vertical, but there is no any active horizontal force, so there is no any reactive horizontal force at B. Let us move ahead with the application of second condition of equilibrium, that is sigma Fy is equal to 0, and we'll add all these forces left to right algebraically with respect to magnitude as well as direction. So here comes the first equation. So Ra minus 9 minus 1 into 2, that is equivalent point load exactly acting at the center, intensity multiplied by length, plus Rb is equal to 0, right? Apply the third condition of equilibrium, algebraic summation of moment about certain point is equal to 0. I decided to take a moment about point A. So let us take a moment about point A, do the algebraic summation of moment about point A. So first force 9 into perpendicular distance 6. So 9 into 6, it is clockwise, so positive. Next one is what? Rb into perpendicular distance 10, right? And the moment of this particular UDL will be, how much it will be? 1 into 2 into, see here, if I am going to take a moment of all these things, so 1 intensity multiplied by length shall be acting at a distance of 1 meter. So how much will be this total distance? 6 plus 4 plus 1. Is it okay? So that will be the total distance, means 11. So let us do that. Minus Rb into 10 plus 9 into 6, 1 into 2 means equivalent point load that shall be acting at the center of overhang, that means at a distance of 1. So how much is this force about point A? 10 plus 1. So 10 plus 1 is equal to 0. So I will be getting the value of Rb is equal to 7.6 kilonewton. It is positive, means what? Assumed direction of Rb is correct. Now put it in equation number 1. So I got a value of Ra is equal to 3.4. Again it is positive, means assumed direction is correct. Now once I get a value of RA and RB, back substitute it. So I have written RA and RB here. Once I find out the external support reaction, now it comes to use a governing equation of double integration. What it is? EI d2y by dx square is equal to mx. Here right hand side is the bending moment, and this bending moment is to be observed at various sections, and where the sections are to be taken between the two consecutive forces. So first force is 3.4 upward, second force is 9. So first section has to be taken in between AC, second force and third, so second section will be here, and last section is to be observed somewhere here. Is it okay? In this particular BD. So let us take those sections one by one. So first section at a distance of x from A, second section at a distance of x from A again, and third section is at a distance of x from A. Is that okay? Now with respect to every section I have to take the moment. So let us see how it is to be taken. So remember here I am trying to establish a generalized equation for the moment with respect to the consecutive sections which I have taken for span AC, BC and BD. Is that okay? So these are the three sections with respect to which I have to observe the moments, so as to get a generalized equation for the moment which is to be substituted into the double integration governing equation. So here mx will be what? Mx will be what with respect to first section? Ra into x, and Ra is what? 3.4. So we have finished with the moment of first section. Now take with respect to second section. Now whatever is available on the left hand side, for all those I have to take the moment. Is that okay? So what is available? Ra into x, that is already taken. 9 into x minus 6. Is that okay? So total is how much? X. And how much is this? This is equal to 6. So how much will be this distance? This to this will be x minus 6. So I have taken the moment about second section also. Now take the third section and take a moment. So again whatever is left on the remaining part of, on the left hand side, what it is? Ra into x, 9 into x minus 6, 9 into x minus 6, of course it is minus 9 because it is hogging or anti-clockwise. Here 7.6, how much? What is this 7.6? 7.6 is RB. So RB into perpendicular distance, how much will it will be? Total is x minus 10. So x minus 10, and one more is remaining here, that is a UDL. Is that okay? So what is the UDL? Intensity 1. For how much length it is acting? It is acting on this much of distance. So how much is this distance? It will be x minus 10. Can you see here? This distance will be what? Total is what? Total is x. From this to this is how much? 10. So how much will be this? X minus 10. So 1 into x minus 10 whole square by 2 will be the moment of this UDL. Is that okay? So I have finished with the generalized equation, and here comes the basic equation which is to be utilized further in the governing equation of double integration. Is that okay? I hope everything is clear. This is 1 into bracket x minus 10 whole square by 2. Is that okay? So it is simply intensity multiplied by whole length on which it is been imposed. So this is how much? X minus 10 only up to this part into x minus 10 by 2. That comes out to be x minus 10 whole square by 2. Is that okay? So utilizing this equation in the governing equation of double integration. So here is the governing equation. EI d2y by dx square is equal to mx. Mx value already we have established. Mx is nothing but it is the generalized equation for the bending moment with respect to every section which we have observed earlier. Now I am substituting the values. So here comes the substitution of mx. Now I will be integrating it. So on integrating, what I will be getting? EI dy by dx plus 3.4x square by 2 plus c1. So first constant of integration is written with respect to first term only. Is that okay? Minus 9 into x minus 6 whole square by 2 plus 7.6 x minus 10 whole square by 2 minus x minus 10 whole square by 2. So I did the integration of this. So here this will be, last term is remaining x minus 10 cube by 6. So I have integrated it once. Now if I simplify this equation, so I got a simplified form, I call it as small a equation. Is it okay? Once again I will integrate so as to get deflection. So here 1.7 x cube by 3 plus c1x plus c2 minus 4.5 x minus 6 cube by 3 minus 3.8 x minus 10 cube by 3 again minus x minus 10 cube by 18, rest 4 by 24, right? So this is equation number B. Here in equation number small a and b we have c1 and c2 which are to be found out from where? From the boundary conditions. So let us apply the boundary condition. We know at x is equal to 0, y is equal to 0. Obviously elastic curve, again the same understanding. At x is equal to 0, y a is equal to 0. At x is equal to total 10, y b again equal to 0. So that is another condition that we have to apply after some time. So first of all we will use this first boundary condition, x is equal to 0, y is equal to 0. Put it in equation number B. Is that okay? So when this is 0, this is going to be 0, this is going to be 0, therefore C2 is equal to only 0. I am not considering right now these three terms because everything is going to give you a negative value which is not to be entertained in the Macaulay method. And another reason is that I am dealing with the first section, so only first term integrations I have to take into account, right? So here is x is equal to 0, so C2 is equal to 0. Now again at x is equal to 10, yb is equal to 0. Put again yb is equal to 0 and x is equal to 10. Now here I can take this term because 10 minus 6 plus 4, 10 minus 10, 0, and this here 10 minus 10, 0. Is that okay? So directly these two terms will be 0. So here you can see I am putting the value of x is equal to 10, but only first and second term I have taken because this is coming out to be 0 and 0. So I got C1 is equal to minus 47.067. After getting this, we know what is to be done. We have to back substitute the value of C1 and C2 in the small a equation and small b equation for slope and deflection. After putting it, I will be rewriting the equations once again with the value of C1 and C2. So here I have substituted the value of C1 and C2 and I have rewritten the equation A and equation number B. So once we get equation number A and B, the generalized equation for the slope and deflection, now rest of the things are just simple. Whatever the objective of the problem was, that is to be identified. We are required to find out the slope and deflection at various points, and all those data related to the value of x is already been given into the statement problem. So here what was been asked? To find out slope at A, C and D. So at A, x is equal to 0, at C, x is equal to 6 and at D, x is equal to 12. So at all these values of x, we got to find out the slope. Means we have to take every time the equation number A, capital A, and there we have to substitute the value of x is equal to 0, x is equal to 6 and x is equal to 12 so as to find out the slope at A, C and D. So let us perform that particular calculation. So slope at A. Slope at A means what? At x is equal to 0. Put it in equation number A. Simplify it. We'll be getting a slope at that particular point A. So here you can see only first term is been taken into account. Why it is so? Because if I have x is equal to 0 means it is related to the first AC, that is for the first point A, where the first section is only valid. So I have taken only this much of part. I have put the value of x is equal to 0, simplified it and got the slope in terms of radians. So simply by putting these given values and multiplying this particular factor 10 square, so that you will be getting a value in terms of radians. So that is the slope at x is equal to 0, that is at point A. Second, we got to find out the slope at C, means at x is equal to 6. Put that value again till x is equal to 0 to x is equal to 6. First section is valid, so take only first term. Put the value of x is equal to 6. Simplify it. Got the value of slope at point C, that is equal to minus 0.000763 radians. And why minus? Because it is rotating in this fashion, means this deflection is going to occur in a clockwise sense. That's why this value is coming out to be negative. I hope you are getting this particular part, what I said right now. As in the elastic curve, the tangent rotates from x is equal theta is equal to 0, that is slope is equal to 0, till slope at A in which direction? Clockwise. So that's why we are getting minus. Is that okay? Similarly, now for finding out the slope at D, what will be the value of x? X value is equal to 12, 6 plus 4 plus 2. So put that value x is equal to 12 in equation number A again. Now think how many terms are to be included. First term x is equal to 12 is valid for all the three sections, so I have to consider all the various terms, right? So put the values and simplify it. You will be getting slope at D is equal to minus 0.0001038. So this is what is the slope at point C. After this, what is to be found out? We are required to find out the deflections at various points. What are those points? Deflection at C is asked. Is it okay? So at C, x is equal to 6. So at x is equal to 6, take equation number B, which is the generalized equation for deflection. Put a value of x is equal to 6 in that equation, simplify it, and you will be getting the deflection is equal to minus 8.65 millimeter. Why minus? Because it is downward. Is that okay? And how many terms did I take? As x is equal to 6, means again only the first term. And then I have substituted the value of x is equal to 6. Now what else was required to find out? We were required to find out deflection at D. Is that okay? So at deflection to be at D, to be found out, how much is the value of x? X will be equal to 12. Put again in equation number B. Now how many terms we will have to take? If I am talking about 12, this particular part, so all the three sections we have to take into account, means all terms are to be taken into account. Is it okay? So take all the terms, put the value of x is equal to 12, simplify it, you will be getting the deflection at D. Is it okay? So all this is what is the deflection at D. This is deflection at D, and also this is deflection at D, right? So this is how we have to find out the deflection at point D.